She pulls my trigger, got me up alright. It's a danger pretty here in our city. She pulls my trigger, got me up alright. It's a danger pretty here in our city. Here in our city, got me up alright. Here in our city. She pulls my trigger, got me up alright. It's a danger pretty here in our city.
All right. Here we are in another segment of the Night Ride. We're going to be talking about Invincible Season 3, Episode 1. I'm going to start off by saying this. It's the Invincible
right off the bat, huh? Here we go.
Yeah. It's the Invincible we've come to know and love, right? I don't know if this is just me,
Mm-hmm.
but did the episode feel a little stale to you?
Some moments.
Yeah. There were some moments for me where I was just like, okay, yeah, this is like very in that Invincible style, but it's very, even though there was like action and all this stuff going on, it was lacking a certain level of depth for me. I don't know, maybe because it's the first episode, I don't know what, maybe we were just had different expectations of how this was going to go. Maybe because the, end of season 2 ended on such a high note with all these different conflicts going on, and then we just sort of got thrust into something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why I was feeling like it was a little bit jarring for me, to like not be, put back into that position where I was like, oh man, like a lot of intense things are going on. Like what's gonna happen now? And it's just a training montage of Mark and him getting ready and going through like this weird policing phase. So yeah, all in all, the episode was, in my opinion, like a solid 6-7 out of 10. It wasn't bad. It's just, well, I don't know. Maybe I was just expecting more. That's the problem with having high expectations.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember exactly how the first episode of season 2 started, but I think I feel like maybe in season 2 is the same way though. Maybe they just start off like kind of like they start out and go like this because the end of season 3 is probably gonna be wild. They just can't. I imagine they just can't start out that way and like move too fast or something. It was good. I guess like I can see sort of like a conflict of something that's going to happen between Mark and Cecil. Although I don't really know what would be the end result to that because it could be that Mark works independently and doesn't rely on the federal government anymore. Which is a big possibility. And that isn't that how Omni-Man was?
Yeah, and no, that's Cecil's fear with Mark is that he turns into his father. But I mean, the problem, like, and I feel like this is why Omni-Man is such a compelling character, is because when you live as long as Viltrumites can, and you feel that you're not chained or shackled to like societal norms, like going into a society and having this one dude just like basically run shit, thinking that he can run shit, and you're like, I'm above it. You know what I mean? It's basically like Superman without a moral compass. You know what I mean?
Which is
like
essentially I go because Mark grew up there, so he doesn't have that same mindset.
Right. And let me correct that. It's not without a moral compass. It's just with a more believable moral compass. Because Superman, right, he's very Boy Scout. But it's not as... Oh, man, I don't even think I should say that. It's not as complex as it would be in reality. I guess that's the nicest way to put it.
Okay.
So I feel like, this is a more believable situation where you have these demigod to godlike characters, when they have these interactions with any type of civilization or society.
Well, Mark could. I feel like, honestly, I think Mark could reach that point, especially depending how angry he gets at Cecil. I feel like he could reach the point where he'd just be like, "F this." Like, I can literally turn everything you like, throw at me down. I can, change your whole job basically. But at the same time, like, I don't think Mark is gonna reach that kind of status because he's the hero of the show. He's not gonna be a complete douchebag.
Right.
But I can also see him taken back or like fighting against Cecil and all that shit. I mean, he was clearly upset for a good reason. I mean,
Yeah.
fucking pissed. He was pissed.
Of course.
So I'm wondering what they're gonna do with that. And obviously when he finds out that Cecil went to go talk to his brother, like, I'm wondering what happened there. But first episode for me is like one of those things where it's like it's a starting ground. Like, this is just a stepping stone into what this season is basically going to bring us. So it was good. It was just not great, but it was good. They showed all the characters. They showed everyone and their sense of humor and all that stuff. Rex is still funny as fuck. That dude's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Always next. I love when the guy was like, "Any last words?" And he's like, "Eat a dick."
Yeah.
Oh, and one of the parts that really made me laugh about this episode was, I don't really know why they even brought this, but the two dudes who try to steal the independence, the Declaration, and he just like punches Mark, and he's like, "Yep, normal dude." I was like, "Damn."
Yeah. Which is interesting too, because obviously, Invincible doesn't do things by accident, right? So those characters for me are gonna come into play at some point. That whole issue of the Declaration of Independence is not done, so we're probably gonna see some of that in the next episode as well.
I mean, the biggest question would be why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not gold. It's not, money in general. It's literally the Declaration of Independence. So you really have to ask yourself, like, why though? And two young kids, by the way. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
So I imagine, that's probably going to be brought up in the future. I honestly cannot wait until Omni-Man and Alan break out of that prison, bro. Like, go ham,
Right.
Because Omni-Man's the strongest one, right? That's what they say. At least that's what the other Ventramites have said to him.
Yeah, Nolan is one of the strongest, but I don't think he is the strongest.
That's fair.
So we'll have to see where that goes. Yes. Speaking of going places, let's move on into the nerd news section of the Night Ride. I really don't have much, if I'm honest with you. Lorcana's been releasing basically more cards from the new set, which is dope. I saw that they were releasing Nike foam posits, which were based off of Green Lantern, John Stewart.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Let me see if I can find it.
Nike foam posits.
All right now. Record. Let me see if I find it here.
Man, I don't know why, but one of the most expensive foam posits are the Paranormans, based on the movie. Dude, they're so freaking expensive. I don't even know why. Based off of like a little cartoon movie. It's interesting. Yeah, really freaking pricey.
I don't know if these are.
Why? Also, why? Is it like some special occasion for the character?
I don't know. I think maybe it was just a fake. I don't know.
Got fooled by AI, huh?
It's possible. Quite possible.
Oh, man.
It's these ones. How do I share this?
I know so many people who go to like my job and be like, "Oh yeah, this is happening. You should see the trailer." And it's like, dude, it's AI. Like, you've been fooled. Stop.
Right.
I also feel, I feel really bad for the older people.
Uh, sorry, I'm just looking it up. If you have anything, go ahead.
All right. Well, one thing we can talk about, which is probably the nerd news of today, so you guys can kind of figure out when we recorded this video, but essentially both gameplay trailers have been released for The Thing and The Human Torch for Marvel Rivals, which saw the gameplays, and honestly, those two are going to be like Sue and Reed were. They're going to be used a lot in the beginning. People are going to insta lock those two super fast because they both seem really good. And I know in the beginning they're going to be one of those characters that a lot of people are going to be like, oh my god, he should be nerfed, because that's how every new character when they come out, that's everyone's reaction. That's how they reacted to Reed when he came out. Everyone thought he should be nerfed, but honestly, it looks pretty good. They look pretty good. I think the Human Torch is going to be really freaking annoying. Like, if you don't pick him, I think he's going to be annoying. And the thing is really strong. Like, obviously, he's still kind of slow, but he has like a rush attack, kind of like Reinhardt, where he like rushes at you. So I guess you just use it as you can. I saw him going toe to toe with what is it called, Beast Hulk, his like ultimate. I was like, dang, okay, shoot. I guess we got to see what happens there.
Nice.
But I'm going to segue this to, for those of you who probably saw, and most of you haven't because a lot of people have fell off and don't care anymore, but Overwatch is changing a lot of things. And the creators, or not the, I don't know, the creators, the CEO of Overwatch stated that, that like he felt the pressure of Marvel Rivals. He said he felt the pressure of the competition, and obviously they can't deny that they didn't notice the numbers like lowering and all that stuff. So because of that, they on their YouTube channel they've released images of multiple characters, not just one this time. Like, they're trying to compete, so they're going to release multiple characters. They're going to release 6v6 again instead of just 5 versus 5. New maps, like a lot of stuff. Just basically like they updated everything so they can try to keep up. And there's even a game mode where you play in third person. You're no longer in first person view. So I was like, man, they're really, I mean, a lot of people have said it, like, either, you know, compete or you're going to fall behind. So I'm assuming they're probably trying to compete. I'm assuming. Why you got that face?
Because that's my reaction.
Oh. Yeah, some people like it.
I feel like I look like Walter from Walter, Jeff Dunham.
Oh, yeah. They're trying. They're trying.
Yeah, the problem is perception, right? Because a lot of people can take that as desperation, and it's not really a good thing. And so I don't know. I mean, I get it, right? When you have a fierce competitor like, you know, Marvel's IP, it's just so hard to go against. I don't know what to say. I mean, I just feel like people are just so enamored with Rivals because of, you know, the love that they have for Marvel characters. And yeah, I mean, is it a knockoff of Overwatch? Yeah, 100%. But I'd rather play Overwatch with, you know, fucking my favorite Marvel characters. You know, granted, I don't play with any of them. I don't use Magneto. But yeah, I'd rather do that than actually play Overwatch, and well, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously before Marvel Rivals came out, I was playing Overwatch. I was playing Overwatch a lot, and I loved it. But Marvel Rivals came out, it was like I gave it a chance, and it's hard for me. Like, every time I touch the PS5 now, it's like I could just automatically go to Marvel Rivals. I don't even go to like Overwatch anymore because there's just a lot of things that they needed to change, and it's like now they're doing it simply because, you know, the pressure, which is fine. I mean, like, you probably should be doing that. Like, if you notice that something isn't working and the other guys are making it work, you gotta you gotta compete. Like, there's no way you can just stand behind.
You know, rolling off into something else, unless you had something else along that line.
Oh, along the line? No, I just had one other thing, but it's like touching on the subject of what I talked about last time. It's really fast. Basically, like when I mentioned last time that we're gonna get a very serious comic of Captain Planet, which I deep dive into because I'm probably gonna get the first issue. One thing's to add that I feel like real fans are really gonna love the way that Dynamite Comics is handling this, because one, it's 75% recycled material for every issue.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. And the first issue is gonna get released on Earth Day.
Oh, cool.
So honestly, it's nice touches that they're doing. We'll see how it turns
awesome.
out.
I think that's really cool. So what I was going to talk about was, and this is coming from, actually referencing a video that I did over on, that my brother did essentially on his channel, where we talked a little bit about the Switch 2.
Yeah, I forgot about that thing.
Yeah. So yeah, this is weeks back, but basically they did a shadow drop trailer for the Switch 2. A lot of people are saying it's because I guess a lot of people were like putting up not leaks per se, but like prototypes, and they were getting dangerously close to what the Switch 2 was actually going to be. So I guess maybe Nintendo felt the pressure and they had to drop that trailer. And I don't know if we've talked about it in one of our other night rides, but what I do have to say regarding the Switch 2 is that it feels more like a it feels more of like the
Switch
same
1
old, same
special edition.
yeah. Right. Obviously, it's gonna have better specs here and there, and they made a few quality of life upgrades, and that's perfectly fine. But it just feels like it's not something that I'd spend my money on. Just to have something so similar to the original. Will it be a smoother experience? I bet. But I barely use my Switch anymore anyway, so I pop it out on occasion to play Smash or Mario Kart with friends, but other than that, I really don't use it on. I'd rather just be playing on my PS5. So I did mention this before, and I'll say it again. I'd rather just wait for this motorcycle to pass. The sound of the ghetto. Anyways, so I mean, I'd much rather wait for like the next generation of consoles to pop up before I actually consider investing into something else, because everything I have right now is fine. You know what I mean? It's like I don't need anything like new in that sense. Especially something like this, right? I might get a little bit of FOMO because like there might be certain games that you can't get on the OG Switch. But whatever.
Which I think is Nintendo's honestly, because they look so freaking similar. I think Nintendo's best route is probably to do exactly that. Like, let me sell the Switch 2, and I'm gonna release a couple games that are exclusive to the Switch 2, and then you literally cannot play it on the Switch 1. Exactly. It could be their way of being like, now you have to buy it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Seems kind of greedy, but hey, businesses will be businesses. I mean, Nintendo's not the only one to do that, of course.
I mean, freaking dude, Xbox. Well, not just Xbox. Xbox and PlayStation. They freaking Marvel Rivals was like, oh yeah, it's for these systems, and they were basically like, well, it's for these systems, not for the PS4, not for the old Xbox. So you got to get a PS5 now, and like made a lot of people buy a PS5 just to play Marvel Rivals.
But I mean, granted, if you don't have a PS5, and there's nothing wrong with it, but if you haven't considered upgrading to a PS5 at this point, I mean, you know what I mean? It's bro. I mean, what, the PS4 is already a decade old?
It's pretty dang old now.
PS4 release date was November 15th, 2013.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 2012.
So yeah, think about that. The PS4 is already over 10 years old, and so that's what I'm saying. If you haven't upgraded to the PS5, now let's talk about that though. The PS5 came out in 2020, so
only 5 years.
Yeah, so still, if you got your PS4 when it dropped, or around that time, 7 years. the new console came in. Maybe you didn't want it at that time, but 2 or 3 years later, like, dude, there's got to be a line where you're like, okay, well, I think it's time for an upgrade.
Yeah,
You know,
that's why people in PC never have to do this.
well, they do at some point, right? They have to upgrade their machine.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but it is what it is. Anyways, I have nothing else. That was my 2 cents on the Switch 2. I don't know if you have anything other than that. If not, then
No, I don't think so, honestly. I already gave the information I was gonna give today. And basically, I think when this video gets released, everyone's gonna be painting the thing in Human Torch anyways.
right. Well, with that being said, riders, thank you so much for joining us on the night ride. If you want to see more of these, make sure to let us know down in the comments. Also, let us know what you thought about the episode. If you see this first for some reason and you haven't seen our reaction to episode 1 of season 3 of Invincible, then go ahead and check that out. Give us some love on that video and some comments as well.
Also, no spoilers.
Also, no spoilers, please. If you've gotten this far into the night ride, no spoilers. And we'll be seeing you on the next one. So until then, peace out.
Peace.